Namaste. Welcome to this week's video in the Skillful Living program. I hope you've enjoyed our exploration of Reiki's 5 principles for daily living and the 5 agreements that come to us from Toltec wisdom. Today I'd like to get back to the Bhagavad Gita and in particular to the concept of Dharma. This is a very important concept in the Gita, so I'd like to spend a little time explaining this. It is in effect, the first word of the Gita. If you take this very literally, then the first word is the name of a character, because the Gita starts by saying Dhritarashtra says, but then the next 2 words are Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra. So Dharmakshetra means the field of Dharma, and Kurukshetra is the actual physical field, which is in fact at that moment a battlefield. So this tells us straight away that the idea of Dharma is applicable in all situations, even on a battlefield. And now let's understand what Dharma actually means in the Bhagavad Gita. For any of you who are Hindi speakers, I just want to start by saying that in the Gita, Dharma is not the same as, what we say in Hindi, dharam, what is your dharam, which means what religion are you. In the Gita, Dharma is not connected with any specific religion. Dharma is a way of living, the right way of living. Doesn't matter what religion you belong to or you adhere to. Dharma is also your purpose in life. What were you born to do? The highest purpose of your life is your Dharma. It has another meaning, which is responsibility or duty. So essentially these 3 meanings. I will start with the idea of the purpose of life. What was I born to do? Why have I taken life? Why am I living here? So if we think of this in terms of work, it can also translate into what is your calling, what you are called to do. And often people find their calling quite late in life. But at all stages in life, there will be something that you're called to do, something that you are meant to do. How do we find what this thing is? Usually it will be something that you love to do and something that you are good at. So it's the value that I bring to the world. Therefore, it must be something that I have a flair for, something that comes easily to me, that feels right to me, and that I do well. So if you're struggling for years to be something you're not meant to be, that's a clear indication to you that it's not your Dharma. Sometimes we are made to believe that we are meant to follow a certain profession, for example. So everyone in my family, let's say, is a doctor or an engineer or a teacher, whatever it might be. And I've brought up from a young age to believe that I have to do the same. This may or may not be true. So you have to listen to your own inner voice. You have to see what gives you pleasure, what you really like to do, so much so that it doesn't feel like work because you really enjoy doing it, or it gives you a great sense of satisfaction in some way, and something, as I said, that actually you're good at doing as well. Your Dharma will not be something that you're not equipped to do well. So that's another indication. There is a saying that your Dharma is what you're willing to live and die for. Both are important. What do I really want to live for? And what am I willing to even die for, because I believe in it so much, because it's so important to me, because it's something that comes from within me. So that's another indication. I still want to talk about this aspect of Dharma a little bit more in this video. So one question that people often ask is, do you know your Dharma? from an early age? Can your dharma change over time? So I think, nowadays we are living to the ripe old age of 80, 90 or even 100. So I think it's quite likely that in a way you go through stages where what you're meant to do also changes. So when you're very young, maybe you're not quite ready for something you can do later in life. So for example, today I'm a healer, I'm a counselor. I also teach the Bhagavad Gita. I don't think I would have done this very well at 25. So I wasn't ready for this. So I think at 25 this was not my dharma for 25. It may have been my dharma overall for my life, but not for that stage of my life. So at 25, what was I doing? I was a journalist, and I believed very much in the need for free journalism. I thought it's a very important aspect of a free society. I enjoyed very much what I did, and I guess I did it quite well as well. So I would say, in a very practical sense, one could say, yes, your dharma changes through life. After journalism, I did a few years, I worked in development agencies, still working with information and still writing stories. I enjoyed writing about people who don't usually have a voice. I felt as if I was giving them a voice, bringing their stories to the world. So it was still a little bit connected with my earlier work in journalism, and that's another thing with dharma. Often there's a progression. There are some people who do 2 or 3 things at the same time, at the same stage in life. In fact, I do that now. I heal, I teach, I guide meditations. So that's fine as well. Not everybody has to do only one single task or one single thing in life. But it is very important to know that you're doing what is best for you to do and what you can best do, so you can bring the greatest value that you are able to bring to the world. So find that thing at any stage in your life. I would like to just share a quote from the Gita here about how important it is to find your own dharma and stick to it. It is better to strive in one's own dharma than to succeed in the dharma of another. Nothing is ever lost in following one's own dharma, but competition in another's dharma breeds fear and insecurity. So don't be distracted by what other people are doing. You can admire what they do, of course, that's fine, you can appreciate it. But don't be sucked into some kind of competitive behavior, or say somebody's got a bigger house or is making more money, so I must also do the same thing. Find your own calling and give it your best. That's the best you can do for yourself in life in terms of dharma. I'd like to leave it here this week and carry on next week with the other meanings of dharma that I mentioned from the Bhagavad Gita. I hope this helped. Thank you. Namaste. See you next week.